time.
All right, time for all you young people. And it's time to put you on the spot because I have a question for you. Who makes plans? Who makes plans? Everybody. Well, wait a minute. You're not talking for Levi. So not everybody makes plans, right? What kind of plans do we make?
Yes.
What we're going to have for meals all week? See, not everybody does that. Anybody else make plans? Where to go on vacation? All right? Somebody keeps asking me, are you going to take a vacation? Gail. Teachers. Teachers have to make plans. You think your teachers make, Eddie, do you think your teachers make plans? No, they just wing it. Tom.
Events that are on the calendar, let's say for our people who are in school or just anything that, we just say, oh, well, we're going to be here at such and such a date and time. And so we.
So for Kinsey's play, and I say Kinsey's, but there's other people involved, they had to set a date. They had to set a time. They had, if they're going to have a big meal for Saturday night, they have to take reservation. I mean, they have some idea of how many people they're going to feed, right? So they have some kind of a plan. So when I was in school, let's say when I was in school, because it's all the time, but when I was in school, I had no plan. Other people had plans. Other people, in fact, I had a friend, his whole life revolved around his plan to get a certain car. You want to guess what kind of car he wanted?
Corvette.
No? Muscle car? No? A Yugo? Now, this is back in 72.
Charger.
Charger? No?
Mustang.
A truck? A Gremlin? See, everybody's saying what kind of car they wanted. He was making big plans. He wanted a BMW.
Oh my, I would have never gone that expensive.
Yeah. That was his life's goal, to get a BMW. Now, I didn't know what a BMW was. I had no idea. And, a BMW is like 3 times the price of any car I'd ever think about, except for I wouldn't get a new car anyway. It'd be a used car. But that was his life's goal. What was my life's goal at the time? Graduate. Somebody said it. Graduate school. Though I really didn't know what that meant. I knew that at the end of 12 years, hopefully, I would be ready to graduate. And then there was college. And I didn't have any idea about going to college. What was I going to do? But my friend decided he was going to go to Manchester College. And so I'd grown up with my friend for 10 years at that time. And so, heck, he's going to college. I'll go to Manchester. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But that's what he was doing. So I went to Manchester. And that's where I met Darryl, by the way. And after a year, he dropped out. But I wasn't smart enough to drop out or to do anything else. I got started on that plan, and so I was just finishing. And actually, I was supposed to go 3 years because I was telling people I was going to be an architectural engineer, which I had no idea what that meant, but it sounded good.
And it went along with your business.
And it was sort of along with our business. So to do that, I was supposed to go 3 years at Manchester and 2 years at Purdue for the engineering portion. So, come after 3 years at Manchester, I had no idea what I was doing. So what'd I do? I just stayed. Went another year at Manchester, finished, got a degree in physics, and then graduated. And my dad said, I didn't know I was doing it with, I had a degree in physics, but I had no idea what I was going to do with a degree in physics. So I graduated, and my dad says, I need an estimator. You're the estimator. And so I've been estimating, plastering, for 46 years.
Does your physics help in that?
Does physics help? Does anybody know if physics would help you estimate?
I don't know.
Well, very little of physics helps estimate.
Okay.
But there's a whole lot of physics that I have totally forgotten. But there was some that could help. Also, I took computer programming at college. That was back when, before anybody had a computer, you had to go to computer class and use punch cards to program. And so that was, I just had fun at college. I just did all kind of fun stuff. And so I knew computer programming, so I used computer programming in our business too for estimating. I had to write estimating programs. And I've told you this before, but in a computer class, everybody was supposed to write a program, and what usually people did was wrote a program that would tell you what your mortgage payment was for a house. Well, that was way too I was good in math, but I didn't want to have to mess with math in my computer programming. And it would make a stack of punch cards about that high. So, and it'd take about 15, 20 minutes to program it. And then you had to plot it out, and that's how you got your grade. You'd plot it out on 2 or 3 sheets of paper, all the steps in computer program. So that was too much work. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something fun. So, anybody remember what I did? Daryl knows.
Went to college?
No, for computer programming.
Oh, for computer programming.
I programmed the computer to play euchre. So my stack of punch cards was about that high. It'd take about an hour and a half to load the cards, but it would play. You could easily beat it, but it would play euchre. And my drawing, my sketch out of the program was huge. So I got the best grade that anybody ever gotten in computer class because, yeah, you had to be to play euchre. You had all these decisions and everything. Anyway, I had a blast, but I didn't have a plan. So what do you do when you don't have a plan? You just take each step in faith, and you just keep moving, and you do what needs to be done at the time. And that's my life. I never had a plan. Now, God has a plan. That's that upper story, lower story. My lower story was, well, just get through the next day. God's upper story, because I had a degree in physics, 20 years later, when I felt a call to the ministry, I could go to seminary. You can't go to seminary without a degree. I had a degree, and so I could go to seminary. Now, I had no plan, but God had a plan. So, and if you have a plan, you got to be ready to make changes, right? When time comes, you got to be able to make a change and say, well, that plan isn't working. Now what? So it's good to have plans, but be ready to adjust your plans when the time comes. And learn to depend on God, that when your plan comes or falls through, that maybe God has a different plan. Or listen to be open to what that plan is. All right, so does anybody want to say what they're going to do in college, you young people? High school? Haven't thought about it yet? Or you got a plan? No, that's too far off. That's too far off, right?
I have a comment.
You have a comment?
You know, our son-in-law at 34 had this stroke, and he is really struggling with his physicality because his whole right side was affected. And he was a HVAC guy, so he worked on air conditioners and heaters. And I'm just wondering if his plans are going to be altered because of this stroke. And God has something different in mind for him.
Well, we know his plan was altered. It's just whether
Right.
what's going to happen from
He's
here.
gonna be able to go back to that type of work, or if he's going to have to change, shift gears and do something different.
Maybe he'll go into the ministry.
I don't know. They do youth ministry over there.
Yeah.
They work with 5th and 6th graders, and they teach the youth. So they've already sort of, our daughter and the son-in-law both teach that, so we'll see what happens. But
So when you have a big alteration to your plan or to what you're doing, what do you do?
shift gears. Shift gears.
Shift gears. Look for what could be good from here on. All right. Let's have a prayer. God, we thank you that you walk with us in whatever we do. Help us to learn to listen and to seek you as we make our plans. Amen.